Hey, what's up, guys? It's Pixelated-Apollo. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you guys are doing well, like always. And welcome back to Napoleonic Total War 3. This is the mod for Napoleon Total War, and this is a 3 vs 3 online battle. We are playing on a custom battlefield here. It's one of the Spanish maps. I think it's like version 8. It's mostly an open field, but there are some strategic locations like a patch of trees here. We've got a town hall. We also have a church. You can't actually go in the church, but you can, keep troops behind it. Now, it is, like I said, mostly an open field. There are some trees back here, but even this like patch of trees is fairly open as well. I think it'd be really cool if there's a fight in here because it just, honestly, I've never seen a forest like this in Napoleon, so I think it'd be pretty awesome. But yeah, let's look at the armies that are present on the battlefield. They're about to do battle. So on this side, on the very right flank, we have Saxony, and in the center, we have Hanover, and at the very left flank, we have Prussia. So I'm just gonna call this team the German Alliance, just for convenience sake. And then on the other side, it looks like we do have some rockets exploding in the air. On the other side, we have Great Britain, who's pushing on the right flank. In the center, we have Sweden, and at the very flank here, we have Russia. So that's it for the army comps. Let's do normal speed, or not army comps, but factions. I don't really like to do army comps in this mod because oh, someone's screaming over there. Because I don't know how to pronounce 90% of the units. I mean, they're all in their authentic language for that faction, so I'm not even going to try. Now, really, most of these armies are consisting pretty similar army comps. I mean, it's usually a lot of line infantry, some hussars, lifeguard horse, stuff like that. But, since the battles can be sometimes a little bit slower pace, we'll just look at the army comps in detail. But I think we're going to get our first engagement here between Prussia and Great Britain, or United Kingdom. We've got a charge of hussars against some Uhlans. Someone told me how to pronounce that name. I completely forgot. Just a small little engagement. I think actually the Prussian cav was victorious, and now these guys are running. Actually, no, they're still confident. Okay, so they're just disengaging there. Oh, now we've got a flanking cav force. I think they're going to try to go for the British artillery that's really shelling them to death back there. I think it's some rockets in the back location. Can we see them actually firing? Let's see, that's a red line. Yeah, here they are. Yep, he's got some rockets. And they are protected by some infantry, so he's going to make it really tough. He's being super defensive, already loading up another rocket, getting ready to fire. Let's watch this point of view. This is going to be great. Ah. Awesome. That's cool. They also added new sound effects. Yeah, Prussia should just not engage that, unless he's just trying to get this unit to be a diversion to try to save his infantry from incoming rockets. Woo. Get out of there. Get out of there, Prussian cav. So he's got to be careful of that. I would try to double team Great Britain with Hanover. Just hold back the Swedish forces. On this side, there's still really not that much activity. Russia being very defensive, and Saxony just, hiding a lot of his troops in the strategic defensive location. All right, let's move back here where Great Britain is just forming very poorly. He does not have a great formation. Hanover is falling back. He's got his Landwehr. They're moving back. He does have a couple units taking shelter in the farmhouse, putting down some suppressing fire. I think Great Britain's going to charge in some infantry and try to take it with force. He's got his 88th foot. He's got his rangers here. Yeah, charge! There we go. The British are going to try to take this strategic location away from Hanover. And I think we got, more Prussian cav. They are breaking to Great Britain or United Kingdom. Just not able to contain themselves because of the enemy artillery and enemy cav. Now the shots are really taking off in the open fields. And Hanover is about to engage a superpower. All right, they're pushing up their infantry, getting a little bit closer, trying to maintain that house. Hanover sending over more line infantry to try to fight for this one. They're not going to give it up so easily. They're going to fight. They're going to get their bayonets bloodied here. They do have support guns, or gun support in the back. Some line infantry firing at the flanks. They got to watch out for that. I think they need to move up some of their infantry. They do have some shots going off. So this battle is picking up pretty quickly. Hanover sending over more troops to this side. Sweden is now moving up. This is a big concern for Hanover. Prussia might want to close in. They are closing in. They're also charging in some musketeers, veteran musketeers. Getting some good shots there. Good volleys. Here's another bayonet charge. So we got some crazy bayonet charge already in this battle. That's how you know it's going to be a good one. So the British are crumbling on this front. But they have taken a pretty good foothold of that building. Now, actually, they were defeated. I apologize. That is incorrect. Hanover is holding on to the farmhouse. But here comes Sweden sweeping in. Sweeping Sweden. They're going to move in and probably put a lot of pressure on Hanover. Now, fortunately, Hanover has a lot of reserves. So he can use these reserves to try to slow down Sweden. But they're, well, I mean, if Prussia can move in and, yeah, Great Britain is going into square formation. And we did get a Prussian cav charge going after the British cav. Able to take some out, but overall they were defeated. And we've got another Hussars unit moving in, just trying to clean up the mess. And the British lines can go back into line formation. They're actually going to fall back, which I think is a smart idea because they are getting outmaneuvered. Yeah, here comes the Prussian flank. Yeah, they're going to remove so they can face and try to slow down that flank. Because obviously, if they continue to hold way up into the front, they're going to get outmaneuvered. Alright, let's see what's happening here. Sweden is... Okay, we've got Saxony moving forward. And they're going to engage the Swedish cavalry. So we got a huge cav engagement in the center of the battlefield. Oh, look at these uniforms. Alright. Mustard yellow. Here comes more Swedish cav. Lots of cav. Saxony versus Sweden. A very excellent, epic matchup. Sweden. Oh, we got cav charging in now from Hanover, supporting their Saxon allies. So they're going to try to take out these Jaegers while Sweden is busy trying to micro against the enemy cav. We do have more cav support getting shot from the flank of some Swedish line infantry, but they're moving in. They're going to try to save Saxony. There's a lot of Swedish cav here. They're actually bringing quite a bit. So Saxony is a bit outnumbered in the cav department, but he still holds on. We do have some Swedish infantry still on this front. And Saxony continues to hold this hill, just kind of waiting for what the Russians are going to do. The Russians do have some artillery set up in the back. Oh yeah, getting some good shots there. Trying to go for Saxony, who's staying up on that hill. So bombarding that position. Let's head back. I mean, these battles are just so great. I'm so glad I'm doing more videos of this mod because it's just so epic, so grand scale of a fight. The maps are huge. There's such, this great strategy that goes into these battles. So it's all really great fun. Really great fun. So Hanover, they've got their lines holding back the British. Again, they're holding back the superpower of the world. And now Prussia is closing in with a lot of force. And this is a big issue for the British because they don't really have enough forces to contain that flank. Nice shots there. The British are a bit out of order right now. Their formation is a little sloppy. They don't really have any reserves to take care of this force. He's being so protective of his artillery back here that he needs these men holding back, defending the artillery. He needs to push them up, but his main army is just getting crushed right now. Artillery shell in this position too. We've got the Hanover setting up their artillery. Maybe they're going to try to switch to canister shot. This is pretty great, guys. I'm really enjoying this battle. I like the pace of this battle. I like the tactics of this one, the environment, the scenery. Alright, let's head back over to the other side where the cav engagement did... it finally came to a close. Looks like Hanover won that one with the help of Saxony, or Saxony won that one with the help of Hanover. But we do have a nice line battle between Sweden and Saxony. Got the musketeers of Saxony. They're going to move up here a little bit. Try to engage those Swedish lines. Now remember, the Russians still have a very healthy army. Just they're hiding in the tree line, just waiting to strike. Should be interesting. They do actually have some line infantry over here. They got about 3 units of line infantry, some veteran line infantry. They're actually falling back now, which is an interesting decision. Sweden is now falling back. Oh, just a little bit. He's just reforming his lines. And Sweden is still fighting off Hanover. It's a very intense battle, but I think with the support of the artillery from Hanover, they should be able to take this one. Maybe if they could get the artillery a little bit closer, they'll be able to do some canister shot and really just punch a hole into the lines. You can see a lot of troops here are getting knocked down because of those cannonballs. Thankfully, most of them are getting back up, but they really need to stop the bleeding here. They've got to deal with this flank. Russia might have to send over his troops and protect the British flank, because this is a big issue for the attackers. Or not the attackers, for the British-Russian alliance. Because here comes the German alliance that are fighting in Spain. Don't question it. Whatever. We've done weirder things. Alright, so I think finally, yeah, the British took this building, this farmhouse, after so many loss of life. They finally take it back, but at what cost? Because Hanover, I mean, there's still a lot of Swedish infantry, but their flank, that Prussian flank is going to come crashing down. Words are hard, guys. God. Oh, we got a pretty intense fight here. Okay, so this is really taking off now. Saxony versus Sweden. Not, you know, crazy, that's crazy intense right now. I mean, the firing is pretty intense, but there's no, like, artillery or cav. So this is probably going to go on for quite some time. This unit over here, this musketeer unit's kind of struggling to hold this very, very right flank. They are reforming. I don't know if he's falling back, but Sweden's also pushing 2 lines of line infantry on the Saxon flank. So they're going to push up some of their musketeers, try to contain that flank. Oh, he's falling back. Now we still have the Hanover cav. Hanoverian cav. Whatever. They're moving up. They're going to try to go back behind enemy lines. Sweden has some hussars. They're going to keep back here. So I think we're going to see a nice cav engagement. He's actually got a couple of cav units. There's the nice hussars charge. Sweden's got a lot of cav back here. You should send them up, because they're going to get crushed right here. Sweden is breaking. Where's the next unit? Send in this unit. He's got some dragoons. Send them in. Because the cav from Hanover, they are just going to wreck lives. And now they're going behind the Swedish lines. And they're going to support their infantry as they fight on. There is some destroyed artillery here, but I did not see them lose that artillery. Nice. Great charge. Great charge. And just like that, guys, you got to protect your flanks, or the line infantry will break so quickly. The cav for Hanover, they're still going strong. The morale is steady, but for how much longer? Now Russia's moving in some line infantry, trying to protect that flank. He realizes that there's a big hole in the line. It's got to be replaced, or chaos could break through. Alright, so I think he's going to retreat out of there. Here's a bird's eye view. We definitely got to do more bird's eye view in this kind of battle, where just the battle is all over the place. And the lines are crumbling. Just crumbling. The British were not able to contain the Prussians, and the Prussians came in. They sweeped on in and just butchered all the line infantry that were fighting against Hanover. Now Prussia is, well, they've got some cav up here. I think they're waiting for an opportunity to kill some of the rockets. I don't know if the infantry left or they just went invisible, but I do not see the line infantry of Great Britain anymore. More rockets closing in. But, you know, what is that going to do? Sweden is about to be surrounded. They need to fall back. They have to fall back, or there's no way they're going to be able to hold against all these numbers. I mean, since Great Britain or United Kingdom's going to be so defensive, and since he has so many troops back in reserve, they probably have to fall back to that rocket and make their final stand at the rocket. Sweden still has some cav left, though, so he's got some very mobile units he can use. Well, he's using them quite well. There we go. He's charging in some hussars and taking out some line infantry from Saxony. So that's a little gain right there. Now there's still a ton in reserve back here. Oh, he's got some grenadiers. Nice. A lot of grenadiers back here. God, I love those uniforms. Musketeers in reserve. So he's got about 1, 2, 3, 4 units of musketeers back here. The Cavs still going wild, but overall, this was a clear victory for the German alliance. But now they push on to what's left of their forces. They still have a very fresh, healthy Russian force they have to be careful of. I mean, this is far from over. These are good factions. Russia, Great Britain, or United Kingdom, whatever, same thing. Deal with it. And Sweden. I mean, those are some powerful, powerful factions. And honestly, I don't know enough to say in this mod, but you know, Saxony, Hanover, those are minor factions. They're a little bit smaller, so I don't know if their faction is already at a disadvantage, but the balance of power is still in favor of Sweden and Russia and the British. All right, Hanover now pushing. They're trying to fire at the backs of some retreating Swedish forces. Sweden. Got a field battalion here. Or, that's not field. It looks like field battalion. But he does have a battalion. And Sweden's making a defensive stand around this location. He's got a couple trees here. I don't know. Oh, no, he's fallen back once again. I think he's just trying to kite the enemy a little bit as he does his, you know, his strategic retreat. Strategic retreat. You know, just don't call it a, you know, like a strategic retreat sounds a little bit better, you know, instead of just retreat. You know, it's like, oh, this is all going accordingly to plan. They think they're winning this battle, but this is just a strategic retreat. It's kind of like the Battle of Hastings, you know? Even though I don't think that retreat, you know, from the Normans was strategic, but it, whatever. I don't know why I'm talking about that. All right, back to the fight. Back to the fight. So the line infantry trying to contain Swedish line infantry. I think he's waiting for Saxony to really move up this massive line of line infantry. Sweden's got a decent number of forces that are going to be able to contain them back for at least for a little bit. Hopefully Russia moves in here. Russia does have a couple line infantry back here. They could actually sweep in and get behind Saxony, put some pressure on them. But Russia's kind of all over the place right now. He's got line infantry all back here in reserve. We got the Landvarn. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the game here, guys. I've noticed that there's a lot of stuttering in the video. I don't know if it's my hard drive or it's just the game. I didn't really experience that in other games, so it could be the mod. I'm not too sure, but you know, I'm thinking about changing recording programs because I am using Bandicam, and I've used Bandicam for pretty much my entire YouTube career, but or my YouTube existence, whatever you want to call it. But I think I'm gonna go to OBS because they make much smaller, lighter video files, so it might be less, you know, less wear and tear. Excuse me. On my PC. Well, we'll see. I don't know why I'm talking about this. Back to the fight. Okay, so we got a great push here from Prussia and Hanover. We do have a bayonet charge. Sweden, oh, the leg sweep, but he blocks it. He kicks him, and he's going to smack him in the face, and they're both back up right where they, oh, they're going to disengage. He's like, I'm not going to fight anymore. All right, Sweden is breaking. Here comes Prussia, the unstoppable force of justice, constantly attacking the flanks of these armies. And the rockets are coming in, though. Those rockets could be huge. They need to fire down as many volleys as possible, trying to soften up the Prussian forces. But this is not looking good. Sweden, poor Sweden, has been taking the brunt of this force. I haven't really seen the Russians do anything. I mean, they moved up a couple troops. They've got some musketeers, which look awesome. He does have his veteran musketeers. More unified, you know, more, you know, the uniforms are all very similar. You know, more professional looking is what I'm trying to say. All right, so Sweden reorganizing his lines. Russia forming up. Saxony is actually pushing on the flank. You can see he's in column formation, marching across the battlefield. Mostly grenadiers and some line infantry in this small force, a small section of his force. The rockets, red glare coming down. Hanover also pushing on the flank. So they're really trying to use their numbers to get around the Swedish-Russian alliance here. the British just lost their army so fast, and that's just so tragic. He's got to move up more infantry. He's got to send something. I mean, he's got to do more than just rockets. And just look at, you can see all the retreating troops from United Kingdom, from Sweden. It's not a good sight. The rockets are doing their thing, you know, but is it gonna be enough? I don't think so. I think the rockets are more of a scare tactic than actually, you know, super effective, especially when you're losing a fight like this. All right, Saxony is now pushing way over to the right flank. You can see Russia is going to try to outmaneuver Saxony and get around them. So Saxony is going to follow that. He's going to follow the Russians and not let that happen. So they're going to keep on pushing. But he still has some troops over on this side continuing to push on the right flank. They are getting hit hard with artillery. But if he can get to that building and clear out this artillery location, that's going to be huge. I mean, taking out that artillery support is always a win if you can achieve that during a battle. But let's head back to the front line where Saxony is now setting up their forces. Russia is no longer maneuvering their troops. They're going to stand their ground and fire back. And the line battle continues on here. I like how the stuttering stops as soon as I start talking about it. I haven't noticed a stutter now in a pretty long time. It's like Bandicam is like, no, please don't replace me. Please. I'll be good. Alright, so Sweden now, they have fallen back to line up with their Russian allies. Here comes the Prussian force of justice. This is going to be real challenging for Sweden here because they're just so outnumbered. It doesn't matter what they do. I mean, even just fighting Prussia alone, they're going to be outnumbered. And with the support of Hanover moving over just three regiments, that's going to be tough to deal with. So what's going on here? Hanover now sending over infantry to deal with the rockets. So hopefully there's not like some kind of ambush over here, because that would be disaster. So they're going to push across and try to get over there and silence that rocket. And we've got a constant retreat from Sweden and Russia because they realize that they cannot win this situation. There's no way. But eventually they're going to have to stand their ground and they're going to have to fight. Saxony still maneuvering their troops around this building. They're no longer in column formation. So that means they could go back. They could quickly maneuver into a line battle. Let's see. We do have some Russians in the building here just firing out. Unfortunately, we can't see them because they're invisible. They're ghosts. They're Russian ghosts. Oh, what is this? We've got some Russian cav. Where are they headed? I think they're going for... I don't know what they're going for. Are they going for the Hussars here of Saxony? I mean, it's not like they're going to be able to kill them. But maybe he's going to go for a very vulnerable unit. Maybe he's going to try to sneak up and try to take out some artillery. He's got another cav moving in. So he is actually going to charge the artillery. I don't know if he can completely kill it. But the Saxon cav's trying to contain them. They do break him pretty quickly. He might have saved his cannon crew. Not 100% sure. But here comes the Russian force. That wasn't exactly the perfectly timed cav charge. But at least he was able to charge in and try to silence those guns, at least for a little bit. The Russians are falling back. Sweden falling back. Hanover getting closer and closer to the rockets. We do have some British lines. Okay, so they are still here. Oh, this is awkward. He's got the Hanover line infantry. Hanoverian... Hanover... why can't I say this word? Hanoverian Landwehr, whatever. The soldiers have Hanover. So they're going to hold behind the trenches, which should really help them out. They've actually got a lot of line infantry. Now, if this line infantry was in the original assault at the beginning, you know, near that building that they took over so quickly, they might have done a little bit better. That's why it's never a great idea to divide your army like that. You want to concentrate your force and fight as one. March divided, fight united. That's what I always say, especially in Napoleon Total War. It's always great to have as many guns firing down on your opponent as possible. Okay, so Sweden now falling back to the forest. A constant retreat. Hanover's not slowing down. They're not gonna let them run. They're gonna keep pushing. Prussia's actually, you know, kind of taking his time. Hanover has some artillery now maneuvering over to the Russian side. And now we've got a very intense line battle on this front. The general is right in the front line, watching over his troops, giving them inspiration as they fight on against the Russian lines. They've got to be careful, though, because, well, actually, Saxony sent over some grenadiers to take care of this building. They should be able to clear it out. And now we've got a cav charging in to Russia, who's sending over some musketeers that could break this unit. I don't know. The Saxon cav, they're starting to break on their own. This is pretty close. The morale is shifting back and forth. There's a countercharge of the other line regiment moving in. Yes, they do. They do break the Saxon cav. And now there's a very big flank exposed on the Saxon lines. He's going to maneuver some of his musketeers. He's probably going to reform a line and try to defend the flank as Russia pushes more infantry that way. Saxony is moving the rest of his army towards that direction, trying to support that main force. All right, Russia, come on. Russia's a fan favorite, man. You always see Russia in these battle replays. All right, so they're going to get ready to fire any day now. Or just stand there, you know, do whatever. The Saxon musketeers fighting off 2 regiments. Their morale is starting to shatter, and he's going to give up that fight. He's got to wait for his main army. Let's see what's going on here, because we do have some pretty intense fighting here. Hanover's kind of all by himself here. Sweden can actually use their numbers and take him out before the Prussians arrive. I don't know if he could take him out that quickly, but the Prussians are now moving up into formation. And pretty soon, you've got to, I mean, I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. You got to put your foot down, and you got to make your stand. You can't just constantly retreat. We've seen it many times before. There's a lot of retreating in this game, kiting of the enemy, which is very critical, especially in this mod. So it could pay off. I mean, it's still tough to say who's going to win this one. More rockets coming in, trying to take over, or take out the line infantry of Hanover, who's moving up. I don't know if they have enough troops to fight this defensive position. They are trying to go around the flank. The little barricade in the city. I don't know if that actually stops them or they can move around it. Oh, what is this? Some cav pushing in, pushing right through the line infantry, trying to get to the rockets. And they do get to the rockets. That was very sneaky. I didn't even see that coming. So he had some hussars, the line infantry trying to come in and stop them. That does silence the rockets, at least for a little bit. I don't know if that's going to completely stop them or what, but the line infantry is now out of position because he's charging back, trying to use his bayonets and contain the front line. Yeah, get his line infantry up there, fire down. He might be able to make some progress here if he can hold them back. If the cav can fight on, nope, they're breaking. If they could just fight on for a little bit longer, it would have been huge. It would have been huge. All right, so I think this is going to be the final showdown here between Sweden and Prussia and Hanover. Russia has constantly been pushing back this poor force from Saxony that were really cut off from his main army. I say, you know what? Let this small force run. Just let them run. And with this main army, double team Sweden, take them out. Oh, the artillery is going to make it tough. Hopefully, they've got some skirmishers or some cav to try to take out the artillery. But that's going to be a tough unit, tough position to charge with infantry. Okay, so yeah, they can go around the barricade. We're just going to go the long way around it. And now the British are sending over some line infantry to take care of that force. They might want to send up some reinforcements. I mean, I don't even know how important of a location this is to take out. I mean, the rockets are a bit annoying. They have fantastic range, but is it really that decisive? They are sending, so they are moving up some battalions. Or some line infantry. Yeah, they've completely divided. I wouldn't say completely, but they are dividing their forces, and they're going to go focus down the British. The British are moving forward. They're gonna. I think we're gonna get a nice line battle in this really just like tucked away position. The British have sent some troops inside the buildings. This is gonna be brutal, guys. Yeah, Great Britain, the United Kingdom, they've got a ton of reserves back here, more than I thought, and probably more than the player realized. The player commanding Hanover. But he is going to stand his ground. Maybe just, you know, set a diversion. We do have some cav moving in. We actually have the general of Hanover moving in, going for the rockets. The British left nothing behind to defend the rockets and left this open, massive, vulnerable charge. Huge gap. Here comes the charge. Excellent. So he's going to silence the rockets once more. We've got the one last volley. I think he was going to try to kill the general, but it's way too late. The general is just wrecking lives right here and just doing a very bold, risky move. Let's see how this fight's going on here. Nothing yet. They're just kind of standing at each other, looking at each other. Prussia moving up some artillery, getting ready for that final showdown. And Saxony is on the run. They are on the run and they are surrounded. You can see he's forming a bit of a box here to protect every single side. He is surrounded by enemy Russian cav. He might charge in. He might not. But Saxony is just standing here. What is Saxony doing? He should make a move. Try to take out that line infantry. Help out the troops that are surrounded. Or push towards his allies and help take out Sweden, who is just constantly retreating. Alright, Hanover, come on. Alright, reform, guys, reform. Fire down. So I'm kind of rooting for Hanover and the German alliance just because of how defensive the British are playing. They are starting to break the Landwehr. And Hanover has made this really cool defensive location in the tree line because they are surrounded. We'll zoom out, get a bird's eye view. We've got more reinforcements headed over this way. What happened to the general? Did the general die? Or did he just disengage? I'm not sure. But we've got some cav moving up. Some hussars. Oh, I think this is... No, that's the British general. He's breaking. So that's good. The British should break pretty quickly here. Here comes a couple more volleys. Oh, that's awesome. Going into the line infantry. Now he's charging up his line infantry, getting the bayonets ready. He's gonna take this out in close and personal. And now we got the line infantry pushing forward from Hanover because the British are falling back. They realize that they are surrounded. Now we got a charge from Hanover going into the British ranks. Killing their own kind. Like, how could you betray us? Fighting for the British. And that, just like that, they shatter pretty quickly. Remember, they lost their general, so their morale is a little weak right now. And I think we're gonna get another bayonet charge between Hanover versus Hanover. What a tragic sight. Or maybe, no, I was hoping they would just hug each other and be like, we're sorry. Please don't kill us. But we got a flanking charge from the cav, and that's going to cause them to break very quickly. And the infantry fall back. And they finally have cleared out this defensive location without losing too many of their own men. And now Hanover can send back his forces. I think the British, it's safe to say at this point that most of them have been defeated. And now Russia is calling the retreat. He's still holding this defensive location. The fight over here is still underway. Look at this. Illuminati confirmed, guys. That is a triangle of justice. So they're making their last stand. This is kind of tragic. This kind of deserves some sad music. Rest in peace, brave Saxon soldiers who continue to fight even though surrounded by Russian line infantry. Actually, you know, they might actually get past this. They might survive this. But here comes Russia going in for a charge. He's going to use his bayonets. That's great. Charge. Finally get to the front line. That's not a smart move by Russia. I had a feeling they outgunned them, right? They had more troops. They had the better positioning. But charging in with bayonets, I mean, it's really risky in this mod because it's so do or die. And I feel like when you do the bayonet charge, It's got to be the perfect moment. And that right there was not the perfect moment. And I think he really should have spread out his forces a little bit. Maybe attacked him on different flanks. Now the infantry is actually going to hold out and survive this engagement. They can now focus all the line infantry on this side over to the other side and take out those Russian musketeers. Okay, here comes Prussia, still chasing down Sweden, who's just been constantly retreating in the tree line. Hanover now has to take care of this building. What's left of the British forces have taken, or they took shelter into this farmhouse. They're just going to disengage it. He's losing men, though. If he's going to fall back, he should probably go quickly. Because, yeah, these troops could actually break because they're getting a shot at the flank. Fall back, men. Get out of there. You've done your job. The rockets have been destroyed. Now join the fight against Sweden. Join the fight. Alright, and the Russian musketeers are actually falling back. They're not engaging. Some of the Russians are collecting themselves. They're going back into the fight. Saxony still just got a lot of reserves back. Why does he have his men grouped up like this? They're getting shot with artillery. Very interesting maneuver. We are fast forwarding a little bit just so we can get to some action. And I think finally right here we have some action. Sweden is going to make their stand. Finally, we are going to have our fight, guys. This is it. Right here. God, I hate how it gets so laggy when you zoom in like that. The line infantry lined up. They're firing down. Prussia finally lining up themselves. Their musketeers in a nice formation. Hanover sending over some cav. They've seen opportunity to kill the Russian artillery. There is no infantry nearby to protect this artillery, and the hussars are going to go in and do an excellent charge before they can reload and get a shot off. They can't do canister shot, and they're going to be able to take out this Russian artillery, maybe even take out the next artillery that's nearby. There's 3 units of them. This is going to be huge. Here comes a counter charge by the musketeers, the veterans. So it's a good thing they were close by to try to protect the artillery. Oh, watch your cav. Watch the glitchy cav. And finally, Saxony is moving up their infantry to deal with the Russians. And once again, the Saxon infantry is surrounded. The Russian infantry that charged in with bayonets, they broke, but they have returned. They're marching back to the front line. If I was Saxony, I would try to take out these guys as quickly as possible. We do have a death of a general. Where is that? Where? Seriously, though. Where is that? I guess they killed the English general. Yeah, he's got the rocket crew left over. What's some artillery? What is going on over here? Does he have reserves back here? Like, seriously, just take care of these Prussian or the British and move on. All right, here comes some reinforcements from Hanover joining this main fight against the final stand. Sweden versus Prussia in the tree line. This is what I wanted, guys, from the beginning. An epic tree forest battle here. I think Russia's trying to send some units over that way. Oh my god, Prussia's army is ginormous. Oh, Sweden doesn't stand a chance. If any way for them to win, it's up to Russia to be able to quickly kill these forces here. It doesn't look like it's going to happen because he finally sent up his main line. He's got his musketeers moving up. And they're going to be able to fire at the flank of the Russians and save this small force who once again is surrounded. Are we going to get another bayonet charge from the Russian musketeers? Or are they just getting a little bit closer? I think they're just getting a wee bit closer. Ooh, nice volley from Saxony. Are they breaking? This one is. This regiment's breaking. This one's running. Like, screw that, man. And now here's the flank, and then we got a nice line battle over in the center. And Prussia is going in for the final blow. Sweden, I think they're going to go for a bayonet charge. Just one last huzzah before they're finally done. The balance of power is now in favor of the German alliance. Oh yeah, Sweden's crumbling. Yeah, they're going for a bayonet charge, but they're winded. They've been running this entire battle. They're probably going to break before or shortly after this charge. Oh, point blank fires there. And sure enough, they break the Swedish army. Okay, so that's the last of them. Prussia now sending over a small force to deal with some Russian forces that are completely out of position. It's like he's so focused on the fight over here, he doesn't even realize he's got troops that are just kind of standing around. And now Russia is the one surrounded. Russia! The tables have turned. And Saxony surrounds Russia. The brave men who stood their ground might actually survive this battle if they can just hold on for a little bit longer and they can get the rest of their line infantry over there and support them in this struggle. There's the retreat of the musketeers. Oh, what is up with these guys? What is going on here? It's like they're doing that mannequin thing or something. I don't know what they're doing. Musketeers, move! I guess they're glitched out. They're routing. They're posing. They're like, Apollo, take a picture. Actually, this wouldn't be that bad of a picture. No, I'll just let them be. Alright, so yeah, the Russians are surrounded. I don't really see much hope. The constant retreat. Really, what happened here, the reason that Sweden was defeated so quickly is that the British left behind so much infantry they could have used to support this main attack. I mean, it all started here, and it just was an unfortunate ending for the United Kingdom. And Russia and Sweden were just kind of left high and dry because of the death of their ally, which of course is the British. They were not able to contain the Prussian forces. And really, the Prussians had a major role in this battle, being able to flank around the British, getting them to break, getting a lot of the Swedish forces to break. And then Russia, there's no way. Russia is just fighting on multiple fronts, and he's really suffering from it. He is falling back. That's what we see a lot in this mod, a lot of falling back. Makes sense, though. We got artillery forming up right in the front lines, trying to take care of this battle a little bit quicker. More Russians are breaking left and right. Russian ranks are doing their thing, getting some kills. And Sweden is on the run. Hanover sending over infantry, making sure they do not return to the battlefield. Make sure they go back home to Sweden. Oh yeah, the Russian infantry is breaking pretty quickly. And now we've got the final stand of the Russians, which we will fast forward through a little bit because I think it's so clear that the Russians are not going to win this one. He might as well just make his final stand. He is falling back his forces, which is unfortunate. He should just stand his ground. There we go. They're breaking. They are breaking. And that's the Russian retreat. And Saxony now closes in with their great force, very healthy force, and Russians are falling back. Okay, so the Russians decided to make their final stand in the tree line. It's a very tragic ending to the Russian army. Saxony is now moving in to close up this battle. The Prussians are also moving in column formation, going over to that front line. He does have some line infantry just butchering the retreating forces. There we go. The Russians outnumbered, outgunned, but they make their final stand. Yeah, these line battles do go on for quite some time. These battles are very intense. Let's see. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 line regiments left. And then, of course, he is greatly surrounded by Saxony. And the Prussians are close behind. So we're going to fast forward for the Prussians. I'm not going to skip through this because I do want to just show you what happens here at the very end. But I think as soon as the Prussians show up, they're going to break pretty quickly. I mean, this Saxon line is just too strong, too powerful. He is going to turn around and go for a bayonet charge on the Prussian forces. The Prussians are going to line up, make their final stand. The morale is deteriorating for the Russian forces. And this is how it's going to end. In a glorious charge against all hope. Got more Russians in the back. We got another last stand from some Russian forces. Yeah, I think the Russians were a little too defensive here. I think he should have sent over more support during that main fight near this building here. If they sent over more line infantry, I think that could have really helped out. Maybe he sent maybe just 2 or 3 line units to try to protect the flank against the Prussians early on in the battle. But he just kind of held his ground against Saxony. He didn't want to budge. He didn't want to make a move. And he was holding on to this building. But yeah, we're gonna come on, Russia, just surrender. This one's over. This fight is over. Russia going in for another charge, but you see tons and tons of their troops breaking everywhere. He's still hanging on to this building, but they're gonna break pretty quickly as well. And here comes another charge of some Prussian musketeers. Or nope, he's just gonna stand there and fire at the flank. Boom! You're gonna die. No surprise. You don't really stand a chance when surrounded like that. And the Prussian armies are getting surrounded by grenadiers. And we got some Saxon grenadiers going in. And that should be it for the battle. Yeah, that's it. So it wasn't exactly the closest battle. We've got another fight going on over here. I'm just gonna cut it to the end, guys, because this one's over. Alright guys, so here we are at the end results, and this was a pretty, I guess it was a draw because they ran out of time before they could kill the one British regiment who was holding up in the building. But I think it's pretty obvious that the German alliance was able to win this one, and it was pretty decisive. Really, I think they pretty much won it once the Prussian flanked around and the British army started to crumble. At that moment, it was looking pretty rough for the British-Russian alliance. But this was sent in by I think the Prussian player? Yeah, so Cohen. So thank you so much for the battle replay. Or maybe it was Kozak. I'm not sure. But yeah, what do you guys? Thank you so much for the battle replay. It means a lot. I've been seeing more battle replays for this game, which is always exciting. But yeah, that wraps up today's battle. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, a comment, share, and of course subscribe for more epic battles. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.